go off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. Don't need bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new week. Well, actually, it's
That's
the
right.
end of the week. Sorry.
True.
But
It's a brand new day, at least. We can say
yeah,
that, right?
yes. And that means a brand new Nintendo Unleashed, even though that's a weekly podcast, so we can't release. This intro fell apart really quick.
It's okay, but
whatever.
we also had a brand new E3. That doesn't come around every week now, does
Oh,
it?
yeah, that's not a weekly thing. That's a yearly thing,
Certainly
annual.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm Connor, and I'm here with Noah.
Hi, guys.
And unfortunately, because of my insistence to wait until Treehouse Live was done to record, and they didn't announce anything on day 3, so that was dumb.
Yeah.
But Arms could not be here because he is unfortunately too busy. Hopefully next week, because Arms or the game doesn't. There's nothing going on next week. Hopefully, we should be able to be more lenient with timing. Because this week it was strictly because of that he can't be on.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you'll get the gang back together.
But yeah, it's pretty much just E3. We have a few things right at the start here that aren't necessarily E3 relevant, but other than that, mostly just E3. So let's go into what we're playing, Noah.
Ooh. So I had an interesting week of play. First, I beat Uncharted 1. Oh, I bought a PS4. Spoilers. I think that's my first time sharing this information. I bought a gold $250 slim PS4 with 1 terabyte. Pretty great deal. And it's already like 1/4 of the way full. And so games I have so far, I have the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, which is 1 through 3, Uncharted 4, Resident Evil 4, Dying Light, Overwatch, and The Last of Us Remastered, 3 of which were lent to me. The rest of which I bought for pretty cheap. So I'm very happy with my. I've spent very little for a lot of games so far, relatively speaking. So the only game I've actually played and beaten is Uncharted 1, and as I was talking the game up on Twitter, a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's the weakest one by far." And as I was playing it, it certainly had its moments. It had its moments, but overall, I felt like it was a pretty weak package. It definitely showed its age, and that's what a lot of people were saying. Very much looking forward to Uncharted 2, though a lot of people consider that to be the best one, or at least a huge step up from the first game. I know have you played Uncharted 1, just not beaten it?
Yes, the furthest I've made it. I can't remember the exact chapter.
Did you get to the jet skis?
No.
Oh, God. Very bad.
Because all I can remember about the area is it's a destroyed, ruined area with a swimming section.
Yeah, it's not ultra memorable.
So, Uncharted 2 and 3 and 4 as well have more memorable locations.
Cool.
Which is better.
So I feel like I probably probed you about this on Twitter already, but which ones are your favorites, or which ones did you just generally enjoy?
I'd say overall probably either 4 or 2 are my favorite. 3 has my favorite moment in the series, but it also has I mean I can't really comment for the rest of 1, but it has what I would consider the worst part of the series.
Would that be the desert stuff?
No.
Okay.
The desert's actually not that bad. It's a pirate ship area, which
we'll see.
I seem to be one of the only people who dislikes it as much as I do. A lot of people don't like that area, but no one that I've really talked to about it seems to hate it nearly as much as I do.
I'll see if it's as bad as not being able to simultaneously move forward and shoot while you're on the jet ski. It's good stuff. If you watched me play that section on Twitch, it was interesting. So yeah, playing Uncharted 2 soon. Now, what I don't know, I'm thinking I want to play a short game between Uncharted 1 and 2, just so I don't get tedium or so I don't get fatigue. I did pick Xenoblade Chronicles 3D back up, and what I realized is this game is great, but I don't have time for an 80-hour RPG.
You wanted a short game and you went to Xenoblade?
Yeah. Well, listen, I picked Xenoblade up before I got my PS4. And I was just kind of playing it after I beat Uncharted 1, I'm like, wait, this is not happening this summer. So I just put my 3DS away promptly. I'll pick it back out when Metroid comes up. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking I might get Sound Shapes or Journey. Or Inside. Have you played any of those?
I have played Journey. It was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. I've heard mixed stuff on that one because that got a lot of Game of the Year when it sort of came out. But I've also heard people saying it was maybe, I don't know, confusing or would you recommend it?
Well, I don't think I've seen you play any games that are similar to it, so I'm not
Probably
really sure how you would feel about.
I know it's definitely slower paced and it's light on instruction.
Like it's almost I mean I hate this term, but it's almost a walking simulator.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wouldn't say it's as bad as some games that are given that label, but
for me, it probably seems like a good fit because currently so both PS4 games I've played Uncharted when I played the Doom demo, both of which have been hyper violent. So it'll be refreshing to maybe play something a little bit more serene. So I think that might be a good fit. Definitely have noticed that trend with all my PS4 games so far. It's not a cliche; they are violent.
Well, you could get a PSVR and get that quality game Moss.
Oh, true. Well, now I wonder, will that be a PSVR exclusive? Because it's literally just like a platformer.
It had the PSVR logo at the bottom.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a cute game and all, but I don't know. As much as I love Little Mousy Friend, I don't know. As much as I love Despero, I don't know if I'm ready to buy a PSVR.
Or a 2D platformer.
Yeah. I don't get that mix at all. Anyway, so yeah, Xenoblade and Uncharted 1 for me. And ARMS, I'm going to play after this podcast. I'm having friends over and we're going to do a huge ARMS tournament. I just got the game from Amazon, so I'm excited for that. You?
I played it for some reason. I just felt like playing Super Princess Peach, and then I played the first 2 worlds, and that game's actually kind of fun. So nice. I might actually beat that game.
Solid. How many worlds? 6, 8?
I think like either 6 or 8. Sorry.
That's fine. Cool.
I played something else. What was it?
Love Live.
Okay, well that's just a given. But, like, no, there's something that like I don't normally play, or it's not like a every time thing. I downloaded the demo for Ever Oasis, but I haven't played it yet.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I want to try that
out. I guess whatever else I played isn't that important.
Fair enough. Anyway, moving on to the Nintendo download this week, there are definitely some compelling titles on there. First up, of course, ARMS out today as a retail download. That's a full $60 game. Cave Story Plus from, I never knew if it was Nicholas or Nicholas, but they're the studio that brought The Binding of Isaac Afterwards Plus to the Switch, and now Cave Story Plus is a $30 release, which, while a bit steep, they're promising that there's going to be an added co-op update. It's going to be the first version of Cave Story to a co-op, so maybe, hey, if you're a big fan of Cave Story, and what I will say is the box art is gorgeous. At least, can't say from in person, but, a bit steep for my tastes, but certainly a cool addition. Mighty Gunvolt Burst is a $10 Switch eShop exclusive, which I think is sort of a sequel to Mighty Gunvolt, which sort of released alongside Azure Striker Gunvolt 2 years ago. That timeline is all messed up in my head of when those things released. Sengoku is the next Neo Geo game. Again, they're on track to beat GG Series. Runbow Pocket is a new 3DS exclusive. That's a $30 release. And it's available at retail as well. And apparently the DLC costs less. Or rather, the eShop version costs less. And you can get the DLC separately. So I guess the $30 retail version just includes everything. Now, I'm not sure if this version includes online play, so I would look into that before purchasing. And on 3DS, I mentioned this earlier, it's my PR pick of the week. I'm an air traffic controller. Apparently, it's the third entry in the series with subtitle Airport Hero Osaka Kicks. It's a $20 download. And Yeah, and of course there's a Miitopia demo, as well as a $3 Wii U eShop game. So pretty
And
diverse
there's
selection this
Ever
week.
Oasis.
Oh, is there? Oh yeah, they don't list it on here, but there's an Ever Oasis demo as well.
Wow, Nintendo.
I kind of want there to be a Hey Pikmin demo because I actually want to try that. But oh well. So I don't want to give the pick a week to ARMS just because we've already talked about that game so much. I want to give it to something smaller.
Air traffic control.
Sure thing. I'm an air traffic controller. Airport Hero Osaka Kicks on the 3DS eShop, $20. It's from Sonic Powered Co. Very nice. Definitely worth a look.
I wonder if the first two games they're based in different cities in Japan, or if they're based in different cities around the world.
Good question. I'm going to guess based on the title of this game. It sounds like
Japanese.
Yep. So I'm going to guess. We have Kyoto Kicks.
Tokyo.
Yeah. Or rather, yeah. Okay. And so, granted, yes, do check out I'm an Air Traffic Controller. I've heard good things about the Miitopia demo as well as the Ever Oasis demos, so check those out as well if you have a 3DS. And that's it for this week, so pretty solid stuff all around. So now we have a few things, I think, before we dive into the Nintendo Spotlight.
So the first thing, I just want to mention this, but Reggie has decided to become a poet, and he,
it was so deep.
He displayed his top-notch skills at the digital event. If you didn't watch
the game,
the intro, so you'll be able to find it pretty easily. Yeah. But Reggie
really
has channeled his poet. I guess moving on. Unfortunately, ARMS is not here for this very sad event, but as of June 26th, the 3DS Badge Arcade will be dead in Europe and North America. Well, I don't think it's dead. I think they're just not adding new badges, but they're rotating the old ones around still. So if you wanted Hey Pikmin badges, I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's probably already Pikmin badges on there, but don't expect badges for future titles.
Like Skyrim, don't expect any Skyrim badges.
End of an era. Oh well. All right. Yeah. So I think we particularly don't care too much, but our if you're familiar with the show, our colleague is a big fan. I think it was his personal game of the year last year. So, a shame. So
the next thing, I guess it was technically announced on the last day of Treehouse Live, but I mean, we're just going to kind of skim over it. ARMS is getting DLC, which, no one thought wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they already said in the ARMS Direct that there was, they were going to follow a similar model to Splatoon with adding free DLC. But now we have, official details on that.
The first character to be added is called Max Brass. He's apparently the final boss of Grand Prix mode.
Yeah.
And
additionally, the stage you fight him on will be made playable.
Yeah.
And also the LAN mode used in the tournament will be added as well, which includes like a spectator view. So that will all be added as free DLC, presumably later this month, hopefully sooner than later. It doesn't say how soon, I think. But, I would hope that since they announced it before the game came out, I would hope it would arrive, pretty soon. Good thing it's free.
So, yeah.
That's that.
We got to talk about that in exchange for ARMS not being here.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Badge Arcade was announced today.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're done with the topics that ARMS wouldn't have gotten to talk about. So next up, probably one of the worst kept secrets in gaming history, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was officially announced at Ubisoft's conference, and then had a little spotlight at Nintendo's conference. And I think they only actually had one round at the Treehouse Live of this, only one session.
For which game?
Mario and Rabbids Kingdom.
I think they had two. I think they had 2 sessions.
Okay.
So the review was pretty crazy. I mean, as soon as we saw the rabbit on the screen, I think everyone knew. When Miyamoto came out, though, that was pretty hype.
It's actually kind of funny how Miyamoto had more of a presence at Ubisoft's conference than at Nintendo's.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think he showed up once in the spotlight, right?
Yeah, he didn't.
No. Oh. Interesting.
So, was he ever at E3, like, at all?
I didn't see pictures. I feel like we usually see pictures of him,
Like,
at E3. Hopefully he's hard at work on Pikmin 4.
I saw that picture of him arriving at E3. So did he fly all the way to LA just to show up to Ubisoft?
Don't know. It's a good question.
Dedication. But anyway, that's releasing August 29th. A lot of people's minds were changed once they saw gameplay. It seems like an XCOM style game, which I don't like XCOM, so I'm going to assume I'm not going to like this. Noah, you seem pretty hyped about it, though.
Yeah, so I've never played an XCOM, but I generally enjoy strategy/tactical RPGs, the likes of Fire Emblem and Codename Steam. I also, I think the game looks visually beautiful. I know a lot of people think the rabbits are very annoying, but I guess I have a little bit of nostalgia for them. One of my first Wii games was Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. And so obviously, a lot of people credit the rabbits with killing Rayman. I do love Rayman. Rayman Legends is one of my favorite games. It's the first game I reviewed on Flood Games. So I do love Rayman, but I also kind of do like the rabbits. So I guess I'm a little bit unique in that way. So I definitely look forward to this game. It comes out in August, which, the leaks sort of indicated that it would be a quick turnover from E3 to launch, but, it's nice to see that it's coming out that soon. So that'll be out in 2 months, and I'll most likely pick it up. Sort of comes out in an awkward time, like right when school starts, so I won't have time to play it right away, but I definitely want to play it sometime this year.
And also, Ubisoft's conference was everyone's favorite game, Just Dance. Big surprise.
Really?
Of
course, there's a Wii version.
Yeah, there's Wii U, and Switch. I almost said 3DS for some reason.
When you're 3DS all around.
There is no 3DS version, unfortunately. But so if you want Just Dance, I would personally suggest picking up the Wii version because it's $39.99.
Oh, wow.
That's like half the price, and as far as I know, there's no difference. I guess online play, but
actually, I think the Wii version does have online play. I could be wrong.
Didn't they shut down the Wii's servers though?
Oh yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I would say the only merit of the Switch version, I personally think being able to do tabletop mode. I've personally done it with Just Dance, and it works well. It adds to any game. But if you're looking to pay, if you don't think you'll be playing this game outside of your home and you don't really want to pay and you don't care about online, because who would ever play Just Dance online? Maybe just get the Wii version. But nice to have on Switch as well. So.
And Wii U version probably is not, because if you have a Wii U, you can play the Wii version.
Yeah, just don't get the Wii U version, period.
Yeah, the Wii U version's probably pretty bad. Well, like waste of money, because I don't think it's as cheap as the Wii version.
Right. Yeah, it probably costs the same as the Switch version and lets you do less. So, there you go.
And lastly, Ubisoft actually had 3 games for the Switch, which that's pretty impressive. Is Starlink Battle for Atlas, which is Ubisoft pulling their inner Apple and chasing a trend that everyone has declared dead. It's with Toys to Life. However, one advantage to this game is you don't actually need to buy any physical toys. You can buy them as DLC. And as far as I know, they're not cheaper if you buy them as DLC. But I don't think pricing's come out anyway. But
right.
I don't think that was mentioned at all, if it would be.
I don't think there were any details on that.
But still, it's kind of nice because you don't have the issue of Amiibo where I really want to use such and such feature. I don't really care about the figure, but this character sells out or is sold out everywhere. Like, I really want Marth in Codename Steam, but I can't find a Marth Amiibo anywhere. You could just download.
For like $10, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. I wish more would do that. The only Toys to Life game I'm really into is Lego Dimensions, and unless they announce another character I really want, I'm probably done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least buying new figures. I'll still go back and play it every once in a while. But with those, I prefer having the actual figure anyway. Plus, they're easy enough to find. But yeah, this game, I mean, I saw a bunch of people calling it No Man's Skylanders. I just saw screenshots of it, so I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are spaceships. You presumably fight other spaceships. Looks cool, and you can play it on a handheld. So there's that. I do wonder, though, sort of the funny thing about the way they do Toys to Life with this game is, I guess the portal sort of is supposed to be attached to your controller, but how would that work for Switch handheld mode? Like, would you have it on top of the Switch, like above the screen? Don't know. Maybe that's only an option when you're playing on the TV. But yeah, regardless, good to see. I think so Ubisoft had 3 Switch games shown, which was, aside from Nintendo, more than any other publisher there.
And something I forgot to put in this, but I think we should just inject, is Minecraft. I'm not sure if the Wii U version's included in this.
It's not. It's not.
Okay, is getting a update, I guess, on Switch, Xbox One, PC, and probably PS4.
Not PS4. That's the important part. Yeah.
The update, like, I know a certain aspect of this update's not on PS4, but is the update itself not on PS4 either?
Like the whole Realms thing.
Yeah.
I think that's on PS4, 1maybe. Actually, it might not be. All I know is that on PS4 you can't play with people on other platforms.
Yeah, so Xbox announced cross-play for Minecraft is coming between, they didn't mention it at the conference, but we now know it's between PC, Xbox One, and Switch. Mm-hmm. No PS4 or Vita. Actually, I think mobile phones work too.
I'm honestly not sure.
I feel like that was mentioned.
What's really exciting about this, if I remember correctly, I think you're going to be able to sign into Xbox Live on your Switch or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is crazy.
But Sony's reasoning for saying no is kind of interesting, as they don't want to have, or they feel there's not enough control. They don't have any control over what's going on the other consoles, so they don't want their users of Minecraft's typically
children,
aimed at children, so they don't want children running into inappropriate things that were done on other consoles.
So this is total BS, and I'll tell you why. I was watching a video. Phil Spencer, I think, was talking, and so I think Jeff Gerstmann or someone from someone from a site mentioned the point. Well, I mean, if Sony's so worried about that, just look at Nintendo. They're the company who's arguably the most concerned with what children see on their platforms, and they're allowing it. So,
Nintendo's the company that apparently studied pictures of penises to create a bot to be able to detect if someone drew a penis on Miiverse.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, I don't think you're going to have to worry about anything coming from the Switch version.
Yeah, so that, to me, that seems like a made-up excuse, and they're just being kind of not jealous, selfish. Like, I guess from a business standpoint, they just think, what is even the logic there? Like, what?
What I would guess is,
I think the reason is total crap.
I think they're thinking that if people want to play Minecraft with their friends and they own only the PS4 version and their friends don't own a PS4, they're going to buy a PS4 for Minecraft, but no one's going to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the amount of people that do are so insignificant, you're not going to notice a sales drop from having crossplay.
Yeah, so ultimately, it's something that would be, I think, good for the industry to embrace more, so it's kind of a shame. Worth noting, we're also seeing this with Rocket League on Switch. I know we haven't talked about this yet, but that's also seeing cross-platform play with Xbox, but not PS4. But, what's your excuse there, Sony?
What's even weirder for this one is there's already crossplay between the PS4 and PC versions of Rocket League. And then PC is also included with the Switch and Xbox One versions.
That's so weird.
So I'm not sure how that's going to work because PS4 can't do the Switch and Xbox One.
So PC kind of has the best of both worlds. They can play with everyone.
Yeah. But like if Sony's worried about not having control, PC is literally the least amount of control out of anything.
There's no restriction there.
So like if I was on PC, like I don't know how good Psionics detectors are, but could I like mod and hack the game and then go online against a PS4 person?
We don't know. This is all very interesting. There's been a lot of, I guess, talk of crossplay, but I think we're seeing some big steps. Seeing it from Nintendo and Microsoft. That's definitely pretty friendly behavior.
I think those two realize that even though they're in the same industry, they aren't really direct competitors with each other.
Yeah, no, those are kind of different, maybe overlapping, but largely different markets.
Yeah, they're both targeting different demographics, and while there are lots of people that have an Xbox and a Switch, for the most part, there's not very many like, oh, what should I get, an Xbox One or a Switch?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, any more outside stuff before we move into
Bethesda's conference showed off Skyrim on the Switch, which we all knew was coming. I forget the date. I think it's
still don't get a date. It's still fall.
Oh, still doesn't have a date. Okay. And they showed off that Breath of the Wild amiibo. I'm not sure if it's all Zelda amiibo or just Breath of the Wild amiibo.
Yeah, I don't know. They just showed Breath of the Wild Link.
Will work with Skyrim on Switch, and you can get things such as the Hero's Tunic or Champion's Tunic, Master Sword, Highland Shield. I'm not sure if you can get Epona.
I'm not sure. I think he was riding Epona there. I'm not positive though.
Yeah, it was a brown horse, but the art style's different enough for it to. It's kind of hard to tell if it just happened to be a brown horse or if it actually was Epona. And yeah, so I guess not much there. They also showed the same trailer at Nintendo's conference for some reason. Yeah. You gonna get Skyrim?
I honestly, it's tough for me because it looks like a good port, and I want to support good ports. But at the same time, I honestly just don't. Well, two things. I don't know if I have time to play a game like that, and I'm not sure if a game like that is necessarily for me. So I think what I might do is wait for a review, see what people think. You?
I didn't like Skyrim on PS3, which I know is a terrible port, but I don't think it's port reasons I didn't like it. So, yeah, probably not. So, now moving on. Most of this stuff came out after Nintendo Spotlight, but we're just going to go through it first because I feel we have less to say than it. And while we probably have very few stuff to say about some of the Spotlight stuff, I think it's better to keep the Spotlight stuff all together.
Yeah.
So firstly, according to Miyamoto, Pikmin 4 is progressing, and that is all PR is allowing him to say.
Yep. I love how he's like, I have to sneak something out there. He's so mischievous. So for me, this is incredibly reassuring to hear, just because I was so mortified that I know Pikmin 4, or rather, I know Hey Pikmin was not developed internally, but I was still ultra paranoid that, is this Pikmin 4? Is this what Pikmin has evolved into? So it's very reassuring for me as a Pikmin fan to hear, okay, good, there's still, hope for, I guess, main entries. So very excited for that.
Next up, I'll just get these three games out of the way. Metroid Samus Returns, which is a remake of Metroid 2. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, and Sushi Striker, The Way of Sushido are all coming to 3DS, I think all this year.
Sushi's next year
for
some reason.
Sushi Striker is by Indie Zero.
So one of these games is not like the other. I don't think anyone expected a new 2D Metroid to come out this year, but they just totally dropped that. I know it's technically not new, but regardless, it's new engine, it's essentially a new game. It's got
piece AM2R.
Yeah. Now you got to wonder what the relationship is between the development of that game and the development of this game. Was this game well underway when that game was shut down? We don't know.
Probably because it's coming out in a couple months, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it's coming out in September, so it has to have been in development for at least a couple years now. And that happened, a year ago? So, yeah, I'd imagine there's definitely a relationship there.
So I can't wait for Pokemon Uranium to be releasing.
So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this Metroid game looks fantastic. This is the first time a 2D Metroid game has come out in, I think, 13 or 14 years, which is a pretty big deal. Was the last one, I think, Metroid Zero Mission or Fusion? I forget which.
One of the two.
Yeah. I think it was Zero Mission, which was a remake.
Yeah, of Metroid 1. So, can't wait for the next 2D Metroid to be a remake of Super Metroid.
Regardless, though, this game is being co-developed by Mercury's team, who did the Castlevania Lords of Shadow games. A lot of people were kind of disappointed at that news, but for me personally, so a lot of people, they put out Castlevania Lord of Shadow Mirror of Fate on 3DS, which was essentially a Metroidvania. I played and beat that game. I thought it felt fantastic. There were certainly some elements wrong with it, but a lot of people are attributing that to maybe Konami's supervision being more lenient than Nintendo's. But we all know Nintendo, when they're overseeing development, they're pretty they're a watchful eye. And so I guess it's cool to see this studio undertaking that. I'm looking forward to what they're putting together, and I think the amiibo. We'll get to that, I think. But the amiibo for this game look fantastic, in my opinion.
Out of these 3 games, I'm probably looking forward most to Mario and Luigi because I've played Partners in Time, I think. Yeah, I rented it, and I've always wanted to get into the series, but keep hearing mixed things about the newer games. And even though I'm pretty sure this game is on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Yeah, it is.
For some reason, I just never got around to buying it, so I'll just buy this remake because why not?
Absolutely. I mean, it looks good. And apparently they're adding like a totally new campaign or something like that.
Yeah, Bowser's Minions.
Which is like full length, and there's like a Goomba protagonist or something like that.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely looking interesting as well. I'm not sure yet how I feel about Sushi Striker. We know this is developed by a pretty talented studio, the studio who put together NES Remix, as well as the Theater Rhythm games, or Theater Rhythm, still don't know how to say that. It's a sushi puzzle action, and is there a rhythm component at all?
I don't know. I couldn't tell and kind of zoned out during the GS5.
So yeah, hey, if you love sushi and puzzle games, this might just be this match made in heaven. So, not much to say there. Anyway, I think that's good for
the
those.
last thing before the spotlight. There are amiibo for Fire Emblem Warriors, Mario Odyssey, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Breath of the Wild, and Metroid Samus Returns.
Yeah. So for me personally, I'm happy that the Fire Emblem amiibo are not just the new protagonists for Warriors, because they're super unmemorable. Instead, it's Chrom and Tiki, who are actually good characters. So I may very well pick these up even if I don't get the game. I still think the female original protagonist looks alright, but I think the male one looks absolutely terrible, and he sounds very bad too. I was watching reaction videos and people were just laughing at his voice. It's terrible. Same with Xenoblade 2, God.
Hopefully these games support dual audio.
Well, we know Xenoblade 2 doesn't.
Oh, right.
That was confirmed. Hopefully not.
I was going to say, if anything, Fire Emblem Warriors would be the better one to not, because you don't really need to
not really a story-based game.
Yeah.
But regardless, the amiibo look cool. The amiibo for Samus Returns, my favorite, is the squishy Metroid. So good. Nintendo, their pledge a couple years ago to have all new forms of amiibo. So we got cards, we got plushies. Now we got freaking squishy.
Got posable Guardian. You can move his legs.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now we still need we still need arms amiibo. We didn't get those. I want to see. People are saying they want to see ones with posable arms, but I just want to see ones with like straight up dangly arms. Like you can't pose them; they're just flopping around. I think that would be awesome. I would get a twin tail amiibo instantly, as well as Springman. So cute designs, and we also saw a Koopa and Mario. Yeah. So first I'm gonna talk about the less exciting ones. There are Koopa and Goomba amiibos, and then everyone's favorite, the Mario, Peach, and Bowser wedding outfits. There's been a ton of chatter over these, people saying they're gonna be wedding toppers. People saying Peach's dress looks a little bit suggestive. So definitely cool amiibo overall. I didn't expect to see this many new ones, even though there were some kind of like leaks of new retail placeholders. So yeah, looks good. Anyway, I guess it's spotlight time then.
Yep.
Alrighty. So we're gonna sort of go through this chronologically, I guess, giving our impressions. First up, we had, of course, Reggie's. Well, before that, actually, we had a brief montage featuring ARMS, Splatoon 2, Pokemon DX, and Rocket League, which was our first look at Rocket League. So nothing crazy there. Then we had Reggie's slam poetry, where he kept referring to the game, which I still don't know if he was talking about Mario Odyssey or Xenoblade 2, because this talk led into Xenoblade 2, but he said Odyssey during it. So I was immensely
Yeah, and he kind of
confused.
emphasized Odyssey too. He was
Yeah,
like,
he did. No,
Odyssey.
yeah, so as soon as you heard Odyssey, you assume, oh, he's going to go to Mario. But then it immediately goes into Xenoblade 2. He fooled us all. What's weird is that okay, look, this was such a weird presentation, but regardless, okay, so then we go into the Xenoblade 2 trailer, which at first I was like, because it was very strange, because the first combat they showed had like a choppy frame rate. It's like, of all the combat sequences you're going to pick, you pick one with a choppy frame rate. The character designs are growing on me. The voice acting, there was one very, very bad line, but it was mostly okay, I thought. I really like how they've redesigned the combat. Instead of a line of like 9 arms that you have to scroll all the way across, it's now a panel of 4, and you just press A, B, X, or Y, and you can switch between different sets for A, B, X, or Y using the D-pad, so it's much more streamlined now. So that was good. Not much to say there, though. Game looks beautiful, I will say that. Definitely looking forward to trying that one out. They're saying it's a... What's that?
I hate the protagonist, everything about him.
Yeah, I don't like his eyes at all. I like the female protagonist a bit more.
Female one's okay. I hate the male one's voice, appearance, how short he is, everything.
Yeah, he's a bit of a shrimp. Also, his name is Rex, which is just a bad name.
Okay, there we go. That's another reason. There's a much better Rex shown off.
Yeah.
Direct.
Yeah, Rex Fury from Lego City.
Okay. He was not in the direct. I would have loved if he was, but no, a T-Rex.
Then they could call it a Durext if there were three Rexes. Moving on, Kirby. This was a surprise to me because we're already getting like 3 Kirby games on 3DS this year. So even though it's Kirby's anniversary, I wasn't expecting to see one on Switch this year, but pleasant surprise.
It's not this year.
What's that? Oh yeah, sorry, it's next year. My bad. So yeah, it looks pretty vanilla for Kirby, but it looks beautiful visually. I'm very happy to finally. That can't wait. What?
He like throws a heart at them and then they just follow him around.
Oh! I didn't even realize those were enemies at first. Oh, this is Mario Odyssey now. So and it looks like you can also do 4. So you can have computer allies, or you can do up to 4 players co-op, like Return to Dreamland on Wii, or Kirby Wii as it was called in Europe. Very creative name. So yeah, game looks cute. You can sort of fuse power-ups. You can have like a water hammer or like a ice rock. So, sort of bringing back that mechanic from Crystal Shards a little bit. So that's cute. Game looks fun. I'm sure I'll pick it up. I love Kirby.
I'm hyped.
I know you do too.
I'm hyped. Reason to buy a Switch right here. Hopefully they release a Switch bundle or special Joy-Cons or something for those.
Oh, pink Joy-Cons. I would love that. Well, they're already releasing the neon pink ones, but maybe it could be more of like a cotton candy pink,
Or it could be like Meta Knight's Mask or something.
Ooh, oh yeah, like a purple and gray. That would be nice.
That's not really relevant to this game as we.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We got Pokemon tournament. Whatever. It luckily didn't play for more than a minute, so I didn't have to turn off my stream. I was ready to. But then they announced Pokemon Man Series RPG for Switch. Yay! So I guess they just did this to tide people over after all the salt. Well, so what people are saying, I mean, obviously they didn't start development, after all the backlash, but people are saying it was likely already in early development, but they decided to announce it today to sort of please shareholders as well as fans, and I think it certainly did just that. Not much to go off of, though. I guess it's good to know that it's happening.
One thing that people should be aware of is, for the most part, Pokemon games, Game Freak has, I think, 3 or 4 teams. two of them are dedicated to Pokemon. One of them is dedicated to main series, and one of them's kind of dedicated to like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, that type of thing. So the main team usually has a dev cycle of about 3 or 4 years. So they probably started work on it just after Sun and Moon. So I'd say 3 or 4 years after Sun and Moon's release is when you should expect it at the earliest.
And so that was Sun and Moon was 2016, right?
Mhm.
But hopefully, maybe 2019 at the earliest here. Maybe in early, possibly spring 2019 or holiday 2019. We'll see. So again, not much to go off of there. Then they kind of blew everyone's mind a little bit. I know they blew my mind anyway. So I just want to kind of set the scene here. So they just announced a new Pokemon RPG. Everyone's pretty hyped. I know I was pretty hyped. And then it's you see I'm playing the trailer back right now. You see the Nintendo Switch logo, right? It's like, oh, what could this be? Starts with a black screen. You're thinking, is there going to be a voice? There's no voice. All of a sudden, as it starts zooming out, you can immediately see nebulas and stars. It's a sci-fi theme. And at first, of course, one of the first thoughts that pop into my head is Metroid. And then I think Star Fox, and then I erase that thought from my head because Star Fox is dead. Now, for people, it sort of happened at different moments when they realized this was Metroid. As soon as the camera passed through a nebula, which quickly began taking the shape of like the screw attack symbol, like that iconic S shape, I knew, and I started screaming, not shouting, but screaming. So the dogs were a little bit alarmed. I was with my friends, so I was getting hyped. And as soon as I saw the number 4, like I already knew it was Metroid, but as soon as I saw that 4 and I realized it was Metroid Prime 4, God, man. That was I didn't expect to have an E3 moment like this. Going in, I was thinking, man, I'm sure the new Mario Odyssey trailer is going to blow me away, and it did. But I didn't think I was going to see something that was just going to shock me, but this shocked me. I sincerely did not think we were going to see this today. Obviously, we didn't see gameplay, screenshots, anything like that, but just knowing that it's in development, again, similar to the Pokemon, just very reassuring. I expect we'll see this game, 2019 at the earliest, but just so reassuring to hear that it's still happening after they fumbled last year with Federation Force.
I was a pretty big critic of them announcing Pokemon and Metroid here, because something I hate, and a lot of people were making fun of Sony the night before for doing, is announcing games way before they're ready.
Yeah, that's true. That's we obviously don't want to give Nintendo a free pass there.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of get along with Metroid because it's been so long since the last Metroid game. It's been even longer since the last good Metroid game. Well, Federation Force is debatable. So the last main series good Metroid game.
Well, would you say Other M or Prime 3?
Prime 3. No one liked Other M.
Yeah.
So it's been what was that, 2007?
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since the last good Metroid game.
So it's kind of understandable just to give fans some hope.
So
Whereas with Pokemon, it's like we're getting Pokemon games every year, so.
Yeah, every once in a while we miss a year, but for the most part, it's every year. Eventually, it's going to come to Switch. Most people, if that Stars rumor hadn't come around, most people wouldn't have been expecting it to be on Switch probably.
Right.
On Unleashed, we were pretty certain, if you go back to us talking various times about Pokemon staying on 3DS until Gen 7's over. So Pokemon, I don't think they should have done.
Yeah, I think their E3 would have been just as strong without that, personally.
And Metroid, I actually kind of wish they started with instead of putting it in the middle. And it's especially weird because I forget his name, but I was just watching the E3 Direct before this to kind of remind myself of what happened. And in between the Pokemon RPG and Metroid Prime 4, both of which were stated to be really early in development, the guy says, we're focusing on 2017 this year time.
And this was probably a 2019 game.
like right in between those two games that were clearly stated to be super early in development,
It's
and
just
both of them are.
And then immediately after that, we saw Yoshi, which was 2018. It's
Yeah,
like
and immediately
pick one.
before, like if you look at the games they announced,
Kirby,
Rocket League is the only game that they announced that's releasing in 2017.
Yeah, because it was Kirby, Pokemon, Metroid, and Yoshi.
So
Same thing. Bill Trinan on Twitter was like, "Oh, well, he was joking though, because he tweeted afterwards, "Oops, I forgot the word mostly," you know. So, but yeah, it was definitely it felt like some mixed messaging there.
I wish they either had moved Metro to the front, because that would have been like, even before Reggie, just open with that,
Right, and that would have got people.
because that would have been really fun, just watching the internet explode like that.
Yeah.
That might have kind of killed Xenoblade though.
Yeah.
But then or don't have that line about we're focusing on 2017 in between your two games that aren't coming in 2017, even close to 2017.
Right. And then we saw again Yoshi, which I don't know. It doesn't look outstanding to me. I guess it's kind of. I guess I'm kind of confused of why they're keeping the Yarn Yoshi character model. At least I think that's the Yarn Yoshi character model.
Not sure if it's the exact model, but
Yeah,
it's definitely.
It looks slightly modified. It also has this ugly like lighting around it at all times. Like this weird Super Mario Galaxy-esque glow, you know.
I didn't notice that.
If you watch the trailer again, you'll see, regardless of the setting Yoshi is in, that lighting is omnipresent.
Hopefully that's just like a
because this game is early development, so 2018.
2018. I kind of feel it's probably going to be like summer 2018.
Yeah, that seems fair. I don't think this will be a holiday release. It looks to be coming along, for the most part, pretty well.
Unless it gets stuck in development, how like Woolly World did, because it's still good feel.
Yeah. So this game, to me, I immediately got the appeal of Woolly World. Like, okay, it's just Yoshi with yarn, but this game is like, I don't know if I dig the core mechanic, like being able to flip the world. It just seems like I don't know how much they're going to be able to do with that. That's interesting,
Yeah, like the only ways that we could see to switch it were in the video. Both
ground pounding,
like two had to ground pound at once, and then at Treehouse Live, exit the level, which I'm pretty sure was just because they're playing special Treehouse Live builds. Because like you can see at points when they're switching levels and stuff, they're like doing weird things with the controller, and they seem to. Because like I was watching the Mario one, and they had to leave to switch to a different level, and like you watch the guy, and he's like looking down at the controller and like kind of tilting the left stick and like pushing A, B, and ZL or something at the same time, and he kind of looks like he's trying to do something. So I'd imagine for some reason they have some weird button combo to change the modes, which seems weird.
Yeah, I imagine hopefully that's something that gets sorted out. So to me, I have trouble seeing the gameplay promise behind this mechanic. I will say there was one cute moment in the trailer where, they're walking past some bushes and you can see flowers peeking up from behind the bushes, and then they flip it and you can see Shy Guy's like holding up the flowers and there's like a stick attached to the flower. So like that's cute, but like I just don't know if that can drive the game, So again, I'm still a bit lost on the appeal of this concept, but I'm sure the game will be mechanically sound, and depending on reviews, and hopefully they fix up the tweak the visuals a bit, just in some minor lighting ways. Again, really my only complaint is Yoshi himself just looks strange. Everything else looks fine, but I'm sure this will be a solid title. It's being made with Unreal Engine 4 actually, which is interesting. I think that's the first Nintendo game to be developed on Unreal Engine. Could be wrong.
Wasn't Snipper Clips?
Maybe. I don't know. You might be right there.
I'm pretty sure that was either Unreal or Unity.
Yeah, I guess maybe first major, $60. Yeah, definitely something they're moving towards with Switch supporting that engine in a much bigger way. Then we moved on to my personal disappointment of the spotlight. Fire Emblem Warriors. I was so ready to see all my favorite waifus, man, but they just showed a bunch of people from Fates, and like they didn't show a second of gameplay. They just showed these cutscenes with this cringeworthy voice acting. I'm generally not the whiny type with trailers, but I thought this was just a bad trailer.
That dub.
Oh God, so bad. So it's like, okay, we already knew about Crumb, Martha, the protagonists, and then they literally just showed a couple people from Fates. Like, you're gonna have to do a little bit more to get a stick hair than that.
Hey,
Um,
they also showed Tiki.
honestly, well, she's got to be coming with the amiibo. Like, if they show Tiki, Camilla, and Tharja, I'm sold. But they didn't. So, what you gonna do?
So I would say Camilla is like basically 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of the most popular characters in
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah.
Like, I think she got 5th or something in the.
Yeah, and she was in the first trailer for Heroes. She was one of the key characters they showed. Tiki's definitely going to be in, at least I sure hope so, seeing as she has an amiibo.
Yeah.
Tharja, I don't know. She's not as big as Camilla, but I could see them slipping her in there as
She's
some fan
pretty
service.
popular.
Pretty popular. She got that statuette. So, I'm not sold yet. Whatever.
Yeah. It needs to have dual audio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a game more in need of dual audio than this.
Yeah.
It's a terrible dub.
And then they showed the Breath of the Wild first look at we already knew about what was going to be in the DLC, but they showed the first video footage. Admittedly, I was impressed with this mode, Trial of the Sword. It sort of reminds me of an expanded version of Eventide Island.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have been saying Eventide, and I just think that's downright wrong. So it sort of has this shrine aesthetic, but there are also trees and things. It looks so interesting to me because, it's the same premise where you're stripped of your gear. You're not stripped of your hearts and stamina, though. And sort of you're going through these areas with these different enemies and environments and, fighting, picking up weapons. So I loved what they did with Eventide Island, so I'm totally looking forward to giving this a shot. You've got your explosive barrels. There's actually very cool. There are parts that are very shiny where you've got updrafts, and they're like this one scene in particular. You've got a bunch of arrows coming at you from different angles while you're flying. There's an area where he's fighting a Stonenox in the rain. This just looks like a very impressive addition. Of course, it's reusing assets, but it just looks like it provides some fun gameplay opportunities. Then they showed Hero's Path, which just shows where you've gone. Not terribly exciting. As someone who's already completed the game as much as they want to, I'm not sure if I'll necessarily use that. Then they showed the Tingle armor, which is the only piece of DLC that really matters. The Korok mask, which I think shakes or something when you're near a seed.
Yeah, it makes a sound.
Honestly, I think part of the fun of those is just looking around you. I think that might kind of take some of the fun out of it.
But 900, I don't think that's fun finding 900 with no indication of how many.
Well, I think even with that. Oh yeah, you don't even know how many you've collected. Well, actually, no, you do it's on the loading screen.
Yeah, you have that, but no indication of how many are near you.
Oh yeah, true.
Or in each region.
Right. So it could certainly add to that, but I personally think even with the mask, it's not worth collecting 900 of them. I mean, hey, if you're a diehard completionist, I guess it makes the task a bit easier, but I still think it's ridiculous.
Especially for what the reward is.
Right. It's not good.
I'm pretty sure we've spoiled it before.
Yeah. Then they showed the hero mode or whatever, which has tougher enemies in the overworld, flying platforms, and regenerating health on bosses, as well as a gold Lionel, which I gotta say the key art with the gold Lionel looks pretty fantastic. So this pack got confirmed to be releasing on June 30th, and they showed us a trailer for the second pack, but it didn't actually show DLC. It was more of a teaser trailer. There's definitely going to be a focus on the 4 champions as well as Zelda. And I got the vibe that this is going to be taking place 100 years ago. I really hope you're going to be able to play as the champions and or Zelda, though I'm doubtful. That seems too good to be true. What vibes did you get from this little sneak peek?
That it's created to sell amiibo.
Hey, that seems reasonable, because right after that, I think, is when they announced. Actually, no, they announced. Yeah, because they announced that on stream right after. See, I feel like I'm kind of over amiibo, so I'm not sure if I'll pick them up. Although I might have to go in for Waifu or Bosa.
She's facing the wrong way, and she has a very suggestive place for her stand.
It's interesting. Hers could be a bit better. Maybe if they make a Figma with a little bit more detailed figure, they pick that up. Anyway, moving on. Reggie spent a minute torturing us talking about the E3 tournaments that we already knew were going to happen.
And he didn't even give us more poetry.
Honestly, right? He just was very straightforward this time. And he was on the beach from Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah,
So
he was just wandering around the beach with
Yeah.
a Switch.
So I thought we were about to get a Grand Theft Auto 5 reveal because he was on that freaking beach with the carnival behind him. But no, he showed us Mario and Rabbids, which we already saw on Ubisoft show. Luckily, they didn't spend too long there. Then went into Rocket League, which again we already knew about, but they did show us the Mario hat, which is good, very pure. Hopefully, they said there's going to be exclusive carts, which if they're not Mario Karts, what are you doing?
Yeah, or if they're not Mario, then like the Blue Falcon or something. But
Something, yeah.
They've gotta be themed around Nintendo stuff.
Absolutely. And of course, last but not least, in my opinion, one of the most exciting moments was. So again, I have the trailer open. I'll sort of give you this play-by-play here, and I'm curious what you were thinking as this was going on.
I thought it was Monster Hunter at first.
Yeah, so they cut to this grassy field. Now immediately, I'm looking at the way the grass is modeled, and I'm thinking, wait, this looks like Xenoblade. They're not going to show Xenoblade 2 again. Is this a Xenoblade 1 remake? Also, I've got to be back in a minute, so if you can carry the discussion, I'm sorry, I have an urgent phone call.
Okay, so
What's up?
I will just continue this. So. Yeah, there's a grassy field, and it starts shaking,
That's fine, yeah.
and there's waterfalls, and then all of a sudden you see a T-Rex, and then T-Rex is just kind of shaking his butt in the screen.
The ADAC's twerking for us.
Yeah, and then it's just barely blocking the tip of his head, and then you see a Mario hat on his head. It's like, what?
I thought this was Fossil Fighters, man. At first I thought it was Monster Hunter as well. I'm like, oh, okay, oh damn, is this Worlds or what? But then, so when I saw it was a realistic dinosaur, my friends who were bigger Monster Hunter fans than I suggested, well, Monster Hunter doesn't really have realistic creatures. This is like a realistic T-Rex. And so then with those Fossil Fighters, I'm like, why is their last game reveal Fossil Fighters? But then when you see Mario hat, you know. When Cappy winks at you, and he actually has a better voice than any character in the Fire Emblem Warriors trailer. And then I got hyped because I see Mario freaking on the scooter getting that Mario Kart draft. You can see that the wind tunnel forming around him. You can tell, man, if that doesn't have the same controls as Mario Kart, I'm gonna be salty. Oh god damn it.
They showed you can see the controls in Trios Live.
Oh well, fair enough. Apparently you can feel the HD rumble. You can feel the scooter under you. Then they went to this weird looking black and white world, like Nightmare Before Christmas world or whatever. Then they showed this crazy looking, like this dinosaur place looks beautiful. And the first thing I think a lot of people noticed, like there's vocals in this trailer. I was getting serious Bayonetta 2 vibes personally. Because it felt jazzy and it had this female vocal. Great song. Everyone loves it, I think. And then, man, this trailer, and then they showed the Patriot Mario outfit with the stars and stripes, and they showed the sombrero, and I'm getting hype over this. This is one of the things I wanted to see most from the game personally. And then the 8-bit tunnel, man, what a great trailer.
I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but someone went through all the footage and found all the references to different Mario costumes.
Yeah, they're all from old Mario games. They're not like made up.
Yeah, like there's you can see him wearing a jungle outfit in one of the stages, and that's from Mario Picross.
Yeah. The America one is from Mario Golf Open. And that was in Smash as well.
And he wears the Mario Maker construction outfit. So, I mean, it's kind of weird that all this is happening and it's not Mario's anniversary.
Right? Like, this is easily, I want to say, the most... I mean, Mario Maker was ambitious, but this feels just... this feels Breath of the Wild levels of ambitious, for a Mario game. And to me, I guess that's a good sign for Switch, right?
Yeah.
Like, this game is going to do well review-wise, unless something goes terribly wrong. And sales-wise, certainly, it was one of the biggest, most popular games at E3, and it got Game of the Show from a lot of outlets. And then they just blew our minds. So this trailer is looking great already. But then they show us this insane mechanic. First of all, I just want to point out that the frog smiling with the mustache is possibly the cutest thing I've ever seen. Quite possibly, it's up there. So now you can capture enemies. And at first, I was like, well, are you able to control them? But as soon as they showed the bullet bill flying, I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be ridiculous. And they show, you can travel through wires. You can be a rocket. This is going to change the game in so many ways.
I really like how Mario, instead of just looking through binoculars, possesses them.
Yeah. And then we see him on his mariachi. A bunch of people got worked up over that. I think it's fine. Then we see, of course, Bowser again. Peach with her little piranha plant bouquet.
It also appears to be actual like bosses, not just Bowser over
yeah.
and over
There was
again.
like some sort of Aztec-looking figure where Mario possessing this rocket. We see these new currency. Instead of stars, you have these little moons, which are green. Very cute. I love the green motif they're going with. You know, they have the green stars in 3D World.
There's also orange. I don't know what the difference is though.
Oh, they're orange. I think maybe in different worlds or maybe for different types of tasks. Like maybe some are for platforming challenges. Maybe some are for like, finding things. Who knows?
Yeah. I think there's got to be like a way larger amount of moons than there is typically for like stars or shines or whatever.
I think there might be. This is just speculation, but I think there might be 10 moons in each area. I'm not sure though.
Well, because in New Donk City, there's a mission where you have to get Pauline's band.
Right.
And that's like one of the first, and you get a moon from every single band member,
wow.
and
Okay.
there's 4 of them. So that's 4 moons right away.
Yeah. So okay, there's got to be more than 10 for each world
Yeah.
because you would be finishing New Donk City so fast. So maybe who knows? Maybe 20 per world, and so far I think we know of 6 different worlds.
I think so.
So it certainly seems like there'll be a lot to see to do. There are also 100, I believe, of each unique currency in each world. And it was actually very interesting, the reasoning they talked about this on the Treehouse. They said, when you're in real life, when you're traveling to different places, one of the things that stands out most is the different currency. And so they sort of wanted to emulate that by having currency of, different shape and color. So that's actually, I think, a very cool idea.
Yeah.
So, in this desert world, you sort of have like these purple triangles in New Donk City. I think it's like some kind of purple coin, maybe? Or no,
Yeah,
they're not purple.
They're purple circles.
Purple
with
circles.
Pauline on them.
Yeah, and they're purple triangles in this like Aztec-inspired setting.
I think they're all purple because the shops that you use them in are purple, while the shops you use the normal coins in are gold.
Okay. And so I think like that currency is exclusive to the shops in that world. I believe that's how they're doing it.
It would be kind of cool if you had an exchange rate.
Oh, that would be awesome. And it fluctuated.
But like there seems to only be 100 of each type of currency, so that might not work out very well.
Also, I think my favorite moment in the trailer might have been when Mario possessed the taxi. God, did we see footage of that in Treehouse Live? Him possessing the taxi?
Not in any of the things I saw, but
because I want to do that so badly. I'm so excited for this game.
Well, you don't have as long as we thought to wait for that.
That's right. It's coming out October, what is it, 28th? 27th. So this is interesting because Nintendo loves their November, we all know, they love their mid-November release date. That's when Pokemon's coming out. So, interesting decision. Maybe to avoid conflict with like Call of Duty and other big titles. When does Call of Duty? I mean, I don't think they would have to worry. They have this title has such a big, presence. People are excited for it. Call of Duty World War II comes out on November 3rd, which is not even long after this. I don't know why they're making this decision, but hey, I'm not complaining. I get to play it sooner. I get to play it in 4 months, which is pretty incredible. So
maybe it's more for Pokemon's sake. Like they don't
to not cannibalize Pokemon.
Yeah, because didn't Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire release on the same day as another Mario game? Maybe it wasn't 3D World.
Smash. Wait, yeah. Well, because
Smash.
Yeah.
So that might have like harmed ORS's sales. Well, at least they feel like it's launch sales. Whereas like X and Y or Sun and Moon could have got away with it, but not kind of remake type games. So I personally think they're gonna try to get Xenoblade on that date because I don't think Xenoblade's gonna really harm Pokemon.
That seems fair. And do you think they'll do it then? Because I know with Xenoblade X, it was like December 3rd. Do you think they'll go for early December again? Or do you think they'll try to get that November spot?
I don't know. I just know on Twitter, I saw people mentioning, and I meant to check this, but I forgot, that apparently in the Treehouse Live, the producer of Xenoblade 2 said the game's done. They're just polishing it.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts away, in my opinion, at least all the worries of it's going to get delayed out of 2017. Why do they keep saying it's 2017? It's not going to be 2017. if it's done and it's just like being polished, and we're in June, I think it's probably gonna release in 2017.
Right. That seems like a fair bet. So any closing thoughts on the Spotlight? I was personally happy overall. I went in with low expectations and I was pleased.
Yeah, that's probably where I was. Mario Odyssey was, even though I was looking forward to it before, I'm probably looking forward way more now because, as you said, Nintendo's kind of doing this thing where they're like revitalizing series on the Switch because like Mario and Zelda weren't getting old,
Right.
but they still kind of did
them.
New Super Mario Bros. Is kind of getting old, but that's a different franchise.
But like Mario, the brand as a whole.
Yeah, but they're still doing this revitalizing thing. Interesting, Kirby doesn't seem to have that though.
Yeah.
I guess maybe because Kirby still doesn't have as many games. Well, it has been getting quite a few games.
Kirby's getting like 3 games this year. I guess with Kirby, the gameplay style has remained so consistent that they don't really want to shake it up. Whereas with these series like Mario and Zelda, they've kind of evolved throughout time. Whereas Kirby's really largely remained the same.
And I guess they're kind of trying mixing powers again.
Yeah,
which hasn't been a thing since Kirby 64.
And also, 4 players. While that wasn't Return to Dreamland, hasn't really been a core mechanic for the franchise. So interesting to see that back too.
Yeah.
Certainly not releasing it for Yoshi. We'll see about Pokemon, but I doubt it.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what they could do because like X and Y already took it to 3D.
So I think the next step for 3D would be having a fully controllable camera with the right stick.
Which, I mean, they could do, I guess, because all Switches have a second stick.
Yeah, so, hey, go ahead. Go all out. I personally hope the art style is similar to Sun and Moon. It's just, upgraded, obviously, for HD. But, if they could make the camera more dynamic, you being able to control it, I would love that. That would certainly add another layer of, believability for me. Yeah, interesting point there. They're definitely, moving forward with a lot of their game series. So I think that's it for this week. So I guess for our poll, do we want to ask about E3? Since I don't have the document open, I'm not entirely sure what our plan is.
I couldn't think of anything, and unfortunately, I forgot to bring that up.
Okay, that's fine. I think
while we're recording or thinking, we should probably just read out last week's poll, which unfortunately, we asked, how salty are you about the next Pokemon games being on 3DS instead of Switch? And Noah cleverly thought of Ultra Salt, Salt DX, and Assault as answers. Ultra Salt got 18%, Salt DX got 0%, Assault got 6%, and then Freshwater Baby got 76%.
Nice.
If they hadn't announced Pokemon coming to the Switch, I think it probably would. I still think Freshwater might have won because I feel it was a vocal minority that was salty. But I think it would have been a lot more spread out than that. So maybe I should have worded it before they announced. I don't know how I could have worded that because we only have so many characters too.
Right. Anyway, so our poll for this week is going to be: how did you feel about Nintendo Spotlight? Was it God tier? Did it exceed your expectations? Was it similar to your expectations, or was it disappointing? Let us know.
So, when you say Spotlight, are we going to include the Treehouse Live stuff, or
just the Spotlight?
Okay.
So that doesn't include Metroid: Samus Returns or the new Mario RPG or any of that. Just what was in the Spotlight.
And nothing about we didn't even mention some of the details given. There's no lives in Mario Odyssey anymore.
Oh, that too. Okay.
You lose coins when you die.
Yeah, I love that because lives are so arbitrary now. You'd have 999 lives and you wouldn't care about them. Coins are much more valuable.
Especially since you actually buy stuff with them too.
I think it's really smart. Taking a page from Sonic a little bit. But I just think just your raw impressions of the Spotlight without knowing anything else. What was your after letting the dust settle? How did you feel? So I think that's a good poll.
Okay, and For more Unleashed content, follow us on VidMe and subscribe on YouTube. You will get video versions, which, I mean, it's not really a video.
Yeah.
You get our cool intro, I guess. Subscribe on iTunes and Google Play Music if you want to listen to the podcast while you're like at work or doing your taxes or something boring like that. Follow us on Twitter. I'm Double31.
I'm Dashy007.
Arms is at ArmsMXZ. I was gonna try to think of what the Arms Twitter, the Japanese.
I think it's like,
but I couldn't.
it's a weird name. It's like Arms Co-Butter.
What? Okay, I'm looking this up now. Arms Co Butter.
Yeah, I swear.
Oh my god, what the hell? Co Butter.
Well, okay, I think so. You know, the mascot's name is Biff, and this is very interesting lore. You know, the mascot's name is Biff in America, right? That little guy with the punching glove. In Japan, it's like Ko something, like but they tried to combine his name with like Twitter, so like maybe his name is like Kobe. I don't know. So they tried to make it like Co Butter as like Kobe Twitter. Because if you remember a few years ago with Iwata, they had Iwater for their
right.
Twitter. It was like #Iwater. So it's a similar. I guess they're trying a similar thing here. It just kind of seems funny to Americans, though.
Co Butter.
Co Butter.
When I see Co, I thought because in Japan, like most websites are something.co.jp.
Mm.
So I thought it was something to do with that.
Solid name.
If only I had known that, then I could have just said Arms is at Arms_Co Butter. Great name. Blaze Kick is Blaze Kick Tweet. And visit us at blazekick.com. Now that I'm out of school, the dank Thomas the Tank Engine retrospective should be returning. And yeah, see you next week. Something
Adios.
might happen next week.
We'll see. Probably just Arms impressions, or maybe I doubt there's going to be news. Bye-bye.
But